So earlier today, I was looking for internships, and I faced a seemingly serious and also common problem in today's society. And for time purposes, it was called affirmative action. So for those of you who don't know what it is, it's an extra boost for minorities to get farther because of previous disadvantages. So today I'm going to cover some major reasons why I think that affirmative action is not necessary anymore. These reasons include the fact that it leads to reverse discrimination, accounts for lower accountability, demeans minority success, and is also very hard to remove after discrimination is gone. So many supporters of affirmative action often say that it gives the disadvantaged students a boost. However, the real question is at what cost? And at what point does it overstep its boundaries? By allowing affirmative action, we create reverse discrimination and on the assumption that minorities need this leg up. But interestingly, I found from what I read that a lot of minorities actually are in the middle and upper class, and there are an increasing number of white or non-minorities that live in poverty. So unfortunately, the way things are set up right now, in a hypothetical situation, a poverty-stricken non-minority student who puts in the extra work, uses discipline to become the best, might not be able to overcome a rich minority student who doesn't put in as much at all. So another point that many supporters say, or actually the most prominent point, is that it demonstrates a need for diversity in the workforce. Well, even without affirmative action, it doesn't mean that diversity would not occur. It's just that because of affirmative action, they do not want the chance for there to be no diversity. However, the problem with this is that many institutions and many colleges now start to quantify diversity, and they start to recruit to fill a quota based on ethnicity instead of qualifications. But what is worse is that it lowers the standards of accountability in these institutions and leads to ill-equipped candidates filling up positions. If a minority student can get into private universities and privileged jobs at the bare minimum, why would there be reason to go for more, to improve? Although personal motivations differ by case, studies tend to show that when given an incentive, when you're not limiting yourself, you will tend to try to do more and be the best at what you can do and try your hardest. And even after entering, many of these minorities can't keep up with these institutions. Schools such as Yale and Harvard are some examples of institutions that are forced to lower their requirements, such as GPAs and also SAT scores for minorities. And minorities who are not able to get in before at the bare minimum requirements obviously will not fare well when they have to compete with people who've actually passed this requirement. And this goes to show because there's a far lower graduation rate of minorities, and this is a testament to the fact that they are often going to schools that do not match their ability to operate in them. Third, affirmative action is condescending to minorities because it assumes that they need the extra push to achieve similar results. Worse, it not only condescends minorities, it overshadows their success. For minorities, success is often labeled as a result of affirmative action rather than all the hard work and ability that they put in. In a sense, it not only fails at destroying the previous discrimination or stereotypes, but it adds on to it because instead of saying they got it because of their race, they got it because of affirmative action. So in a sense, it doesn't eliminate anything and just adds on to it. And lastly, affirmative action is incredibly hard to remove. Part of this has to do with the fact that it's actually a legal act, and it was actually acted in on 1998, I believe. And basically, as everyone knows, it's really hard for government to overrule or make new amendments because it takes the whole legal process is a really long and arduous process. And by the time it's over, discrimination and racial profiling, although they won't be completely gone, since we never know if that will ever happen, it will definitely be an almost insignificant or negligible factor. So overall, I view affirmative action as reaching its due date. I believe that minorities have begun to equalize in their standing in the modern society, and that it's no longer a necessity. As I mentioned, affirmative action fails at breaking stereotypes and actually causes new ones. And it also creates lower standards in the workforce and schools, and it demeans success. And also, it's hard to remove once it's accepted as a given. So I'd just like to conclude my speech with a little quote, which is, "We want to support the minority, but we don't want to forget about everyone else."